Yes. Good to be on the show. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world. Welcome to Footy with Let's Talk Football episode. My name is Ehis Anthony, and with me here are two great men, Chimamak and Ope. What's up? How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good. It's good to be back here, man. Good
Very well,
to see my wonderful brothers. Oh,
good to be back on.
good to see you again. You're looking as sharp as ever. Ehis is doing his magic as usual.
Good to see you guys.
Finally, the international break, FIFA window, whatever they call it, is over. The EPL is upon us. EPL game week 30. We've been starved of club football for the past 2 weeks, but the good thing is the international, everything that has to do with the international break is over, so we can concentrate on the EPL. And like we all know, the title race is heating up. 3 teams involved in the title race. Arsenal sitting comfortably in the first position, tied on points with Liverpool, and a point difference between Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City. And we'll have a great tie coming this weekend between Arsenal and Man City. A lot of naysayers are saying Man City are not taking the game serious. I don't understand such analysis though. I know right now Pep is doing everything possible, preparing, trying to dot the I's and cross the T's, because this game is a very big game. But to start up with our conversation, let us start with the title race. What's your take on the title race, Chimamaka? Seeing how tight it is at that top, we've never seen this type of title race in a long while. It's always between Manchester City and Liverpool. Last season, Arsenal came in, fizzled out. 8 games to go with 8 points, leading Manchester City, but they couldn't hold the 4th. They fizzled it away, came second. Now we're seeing a 3-horse race. Though, despite a lot of people will still give Man City being the favourite, but this is a title race. What's your take?
Yeah, well, coming back to what you said, you talked about it being not happening before. Yeah, probably not with 3. It hadn't been a 3-horse race. Probably we've just been seeing a 2-horse race when it's Manchester United, Chelsea, Man U, Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal, and the likes in those days. But now, well, it's like football is much more difficult now, and the hunger is different now as it stands. Now, in the EPL, for the first time in a long while, we are having Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal all gunning for that ultimate prize at the end of the season. And we know with Man City, we cannot talk much because they've done that 3 straight times on the bounce. It only means they are over-experienced on this kind of title charge, being that it's at the end of the season. With Liverpool, in the past 5-6 seasons, they've won it once. Only means they are not new to this as well. Arsenal has done this in a very long while, but you cannot just shove them under the carpet like that. As it stands presently, from my own understanding of what is going on and looking at games that are coming ahead, I see this title race as being one that would have to be dragged to the wire, which means it will be probably determined by last 2 games at the end of the season, not now, because everybody is up and doing, everybody is awake. Arsenal is not looking for any slip up. Liverpool is also doing the same thing, despite the fact they have numerous injuries in their squad. The younger guys are they are rising up to the occasion as it stands. Man City, bro, it's Man City. I don't know. There really isn't anything much to talk about Man City. These guys, with what Guardiola instilled in them or is still instilling in them, they are going to go all out. We all know what is going to happen at the end of the season. The only thing we don't know is who of these 3 teams are going to be victors at the end of the season. But if I'm going to give my own prediction, if I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, well, being a football lover, I will still give it to Manchester City when I know some other side of my heart doesn't want them to win it. But being who they are,
the Fort Pits, man.
I won't deceive myself.
If Manchester City win this,
I wouldn't deceive
Manchester
myself.
City wins this title, it's a record set. Guardiola is the numero uno.
Exactly.
4 straight EPL title. I don't think any manager has tried that or done that in the history of the EPL.
No. None has done that. It was Fergie who did 3 on the bounce. And Guardiola has met up with that. He's about to surpass it. That is if they win at the end of the season. I'll give it to Man City, being that they've won it three times on the bounce, and they know what it is to grind out victories during this period of the season. With Liverpool, well, I wouldn't rule they are winning. They are also winning, despite the fact they are using their academy players and the likes. They are winning. Arsenal, on the other hand, look like the most promising team to win it, truthfully. Being that they have less amount of injuries, their synchronization is top notch. The manager knows what he's going for. He made a promise to, I think, the Arsenal hierarchy that he will start delivering this by so and so time, and he has gotten there. We are seeing them play, if not the best football in the EPL presently. No disrespect to some banter favorites out there, but Arsenal, you won't rule them out as well. But in all honesty, I will still tip Man City ahead of Arsenal.
Fair one. Okay, the race for the title. Looking at it, the three teams have 10 games to go. On paper, a lot would say Liverpool. Even I would allude to the fact that Liverpool has the easiest fixtures, the remaining 10 fixtures. Arsenal, on paper, seems to be the one that have the most toughest, or the toughest of all the fixtures. And Man City keeps riding on this what's when you have that boy in the hood, or among the playmates, that has all the toys that determine who plays, who does what. Remember when we were growing up, when there's always there's this guy that will be the owner of all the toys, and he'll determine
the guy with the ball,
exactly
one that takes to plays.
And I think Man City right now seems to be that big brother among these three, and they've earned it based on what they've been able to achieve. That's in Pep and the Man City guys. But looking at it, who do you think would be number one? I know we don't have a crystal ball in front of us, but looking at this race for the title among these three teams, who do you think would at the end nick it?
Well, for me, when it comes to the end of the season, two factors are key: consistency and discipline. If we check our records over the last decade or so, I think it's very easy to see Manchester City to win. However, this season we can see that they are not close to being perfect like they used to be. Some missing, but I know that something is missing. They are not smooth as they used to be. And okay, then if you take away the last decade, you just say the last 5 years. Okay, we've seen that Liverpool have been in the mix recently. They the title once in 2020, and I think Arsenal came close last season, but I think Arsenal has a record of always coming close. And if I'm going to factor those two things, talking about discipline and consistency, I think Arsenal falls last. Then it's Liverpool, then Manchester City in that order. So I honestly think that's where my prediction lies. However, I am open to upsets. I hope I could be wrong. If I'm being honest with you, it would be good to see another winner, either it's Liverpool or Arsenal. For Premier League titles, it would be outside of Guardiola, but it's to see either you go club living on a very, very high note. We already know that he cannot win 4 trophies. I'm sure his goal would have been to win 4 trophies. He's got 1 already, so 2 more to go. It's possible they could actually win the Europa League. It's very realistic. It would be nice to see the top league when the vision is loudest. And then it won't be bad to say Arsenal wins either. I think the has done a fantastic job. So I think he's actually. I heard Arsenal has been playing good football recently, irrespective of the criticisms that came in the season. I haven't seen to have found space in the team. Gabriel Magalhaes has called Santa slightly got more better now. But at the end of the day, it's about consistency and discipline at the business end of the season. So if you want me to predict, if I put it on the spot, I'll still stick with Manchester City winning the league. Liverpool finish instead of Arsenal.
Yeah, it seems that you're battling with the gremlins. They're really attacking your internet connectivity. But I don't know. Maybe you need to do something to them. But I understand. Chimamak is on the side of Man City, and also Ope is on the side of Man City. So for me, looking at on face value, I know Man City have the divine. I wouldn't say divine rights. They've worked for it. They have credit in the bank. Pep Guardiola has done a lot to be able to make them the worthy favourites. But looking at them this season, Manchester City has not been scintillating. Manchester City hasn't been that team that put fear in opponents. We've seen performances where they've lost 3 games. People would say, or people would argue, that those 3 games that they've lost, Rodri hasn't played in those games. So you could give Man City the benefit of the doubt. But there are games where Rodri has played, and also Man City had struggled. Maybe because of Guardiola's, tinkering. It has never worked. Putting Alvarez in that midfield, pairing Alvarez and Silva, and also Rodri in that midfield, as sort of a bit of unbalance the cohesiveness in that midfield. And also KDB being out for a very long time, John Stone also coming in and out. Man City has not been that, the Man City we all know. And they keep coming up with this narrative that we all know, that once Guardiola flips the switch, Man City could go on 15 games winning without losing. Though they're on 22 games unbeaten in all competition. But in the Premiership, Chelsea stopped that, because they could have gone like how many games winning streak. But Chelsea stopped that when they drew them at the Etihad. And we've seen them against Chelsea home and away. They look rattled. We saw them against Arsenal. Arsenal were disciplined, understood what they wanted, got the 3 points. We saw them against Liverpool. And the last game they played against Liverpool at the Etihad showed like a bit of, like a model for anybody that wants to play Man City and get joy over Man City. So, for me, I can understand why both of you are tilting towards Man City. I get it. But Man City has not been that spectacular this season. I'm not saying because of that they cannot go ahead and win the EPL. But are we looking away from Arsenal? Are we looking away at Arsenal and Liverpool? We all know Liverpool on paper have the easiest fixtures among the 3. But don't you think these 2 can give Man City a run for their money? Because right now, it's not just one team. Last season, it was easier for them to concentrate on just Arsenal and get Arsenal. But this season, there's Liverpool there and also Arsenal. Do you think you guys are looking away from Arsenal and Liverpool?
So, if I have to come in there, no one is looking away from Arsenal and Liverpool. But in addition to what Ope said, factors that would determine the season has to do with consistency and consistency.
Yep.
Now, and discipline. Man City. Talking about consistency and discipline. Those guys carry it over 90%. When it comes to discipline, I believe when it comes to consistency, they can do that because for the past 3 seasons. So that is just they are more like they've checked those it only means now that they should just follow it through. We have seen this in the past 3 seasons. Now, in the past 3 seasons, they had some certain amount of players with a certain level of synchronization between these players. Now, they have lost these players. They've brought in 1 or 2 added legs. A few tinkering in the middle.
But those signings haven't worked. Nunes, Doku, they haven't worked.
But they haven't worked. But look at these same guys. They haven't worked, but they are still on the title contending ranking. It tells you that the manager knows what he's doing. He might not get it right now, but he will get it eventually. So if with the players they have lost and they brought in new players and he's still contending for the title, it tells you these guys are disciplined. It tells you these guys are hungry So you can't rule this out. You can't take this away from them. Now, if they have had that for the past 3 seasons, what stops them from? I don't know if that question can be answered. But that aside, Arsenal, on the other hand, last season they were pretty good until they started losing it from the month of March or April. So I wouldn't say that they are not disciplined. As a unit, they are disciplined. But the consistency, I cannot predict. I cannot say nothing about that because they haven't given me that in the past decade. For Liverpool, they have won it in the past 5. They have won it at least 5 years. It only tells you, if they have this opportunity, can they do it? Yes, I would say they can do it, but they have to contend with they have to contend with the injury list they have in that squad. They have to contend with the likes of Arsenal and also gunning for the title. Also have to fight a Manchester City who have won it in the past 3 seasons. So on paper, on statistics, let's not lie to ourselves. Man City still looks like the only team that can actually do it.
Well said.
Except an upset.
Well said.
Except an upset happens. And truthfully, as an EPL lover, I would love that upset to happen. I wouldn't want a Manchester City. That is, I'm talking their emotions. But on stats, bro, football, let's not lie to ourselves, man. Let's set emotion aside and talk statistics. It's famous Man City, in my own opinion. So that's me.
So, Ope, don't you think the Arsenal team have learned something from last season? And also the Liverpool team possibly could want to do this as a farewell party for Klopp.
Yeah, speaking about Liverpool, I said that as well. I said for me, as a football lover, I would agree when the vision is loudest. And I think the Liverpool players are actually fired. Ever since this announcement probably, I think they've stepped up in terms of Liverpool. I think they actually had a problem with defense. At the time in the season, they were the team who had conceded the least amount of goals. It was very season where they had only conceded 19 goals. I don't know if that stat still should I say? I don't know.
I think they still pose the second best. They still pose the second best defense in the league.
Okay,
considered fine. Less after Arsenal.
Okay, fine, but all right. So there's something about that Liverpool defense. It still concedes goals. That Liverpool defense always concedes goals one way or the other, and I think it's majorly because of when they actually invert. When it's either Trent, Joe Gomez inverting, I think they've not perfected that aspect of their game. And obviously, in recent years, it's mostly Manchester City and Arsenal that we've seen use our style of football and be successful with it. So they haven't perfected that yet, and I think that it affects them a lot. I think, personally, I do not like Virgil van Dijk's style of letting the opposition come in, because sometimes he's not the best at stopping dribbles. I think he's one of the most dribble defenders in the league, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a problem for Liverpool. With all due respect to Watalo Endy, I don't think he's the best defensive midfielder out there. There've been lots of times where deputize McAllister in that position, and the truth is that McAllister lacks that physicality to play in that number 6 position.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he caught out of position. Actually, he's either in number 8 or number 10 and he loves to go forward. And then he then leave like a vacuum. And sometimes the Liverpool midfield is then non-existent. As Soboslai has been struggling with injury.
The Gremlins are really dealing with Ope today, man. They are really, really dealing with him.
And then he'll be struggling to probably make a return to help them. Mo Salah sometimes doesn't really impact the game the way you want him to, but trust him to always score goals. So for Liverpool, it's 50-50. They just need certain things to work. Liverpool wants to win. And then Arsenal, look, I think on this platform it's quite clear that I'm an Arsenal fan. So definitely, I do want the Arsenal to win. But I think I know him better than anyone. I've been there before. I've seen the highs. I've seen the lows. Most importantly, I was there last season, and Ehis, you know the way my mental health capsized last season. What they did to me. So the truth is that I think Arsenal has made me grow strong emotionally, honestly, because I've seen a lot being an Arsenal fan. There was a period in time during the 2016-2017, from 2016, after we had that third 5-1 defeat from Bayern Munich. I used to go around telling people that, look, I'm not an Arsenal fan, I'm just a football enthusiast. I just enjoy watching good football, because how can you used to wanting back to back 5-1, 5-1, 5-1? A lot of things were going wrong. So, I think I don't want to put my whole investment into Arsenal winning the league. You know, I'm speaking as an Arsenal fan right now, but if I want to speak quickly and from what I've seen with eye test, I see a lot of positive in this Arsenal team. I know what Mikel Arteta wants. I know the goal of the team. Are they there now? I don't think they're 100% there now. I think they are 75% there. I've seen the growth. I have seen the way Kai Havertz has grown into this position. I know the way Mikel Arteta wants. So I'm happy to see that sometimes, they take on a very ridiculous high, and then sometimes they just they take you through a rocky patch, and you don't really know what's going on. So it's quite clear that the boys are growing mentally. They've learned from last season quite all right, and I think that's why Arteta made certain signings. Arsenal has quality in depth. I believe they do have quality in depth for the first time in a very, very, very long time. Arsenal has quality in depth. My point is that can withstand the game's coming. I do believe it can. Because if you think about it, they then have key players returning from injury. Thomas Partey returning from injury. Jurgen Timber returning from injury. Those are big, big players, and they will be a huge boost to the team. Partey and Timber in particular. Tomiyasu is back as well. Tomiyasu can be on and off, but all these players I've mentioned, these three players, they will be of great help for this Arsenal team if Arsenal really, really want to win the title. Now, they're also competing in the Champions League. So, Champions League is a different ballgame. And then it's a question of both Arteta and the team having two important competitions.
Because they've never been there before. They've never been there before. Yeah.
Exactly. But the truth is that on paper, when you assess the Arsenal squad, you do expect them to at least secure one of these. So what's going to happen? Are they going to try and give 60% in one and 40% in the other? Or are they going to try and give 110% in each? I think it's going to be very difficult to give 110% in each. You might be cut out in one, and in a very bad way. And you